The students who could not participate for the class, they can refer to the recordings. Now, when it comes to 2021 ordinary level paper, we have discussed all the poems. The first paper we have completed. We have discussed all the poems, all the questions related to the poems, and we discussed about two dramas. We finished The Twilight of Crane by Yusua Junji Kinoshita, the Japanese drama, and we discussed about The Bear by Anton Chekhov. Both dramas we discussed last week. We completed that part. And last week we started the short stories, right? So today we are going to discuss about short stories. All the 4 short stories will be discussed, and we will discuss what type of answers that you have to write when it comes to your ordinary level examination and how you are going to construct your answer. And I am pretty happy that most of the students sent me their marks, and I'm really happy with their marks. And I always tell you, as a literature teacher, the more you write, the more you will improve. It is not about participating for the classes, or else it is not about collecting all the videos and completing your notes. The more you write, the more you will learn. So make sure to understand, when it comes to literature, make sure to write your own answers. And if you write something like that, make sure to convert that to a PDF format and send that answer to me. I will definitely comment on that. Make sure to send your answers. Now you can start. Right now you can start, not in this paper, but you can refer to other papers and you can write your own answer. So that is the best method that you can follow. The more you write, you will understand how to manage your time. The more you write, you will understand what kind of grammar mistakes that you do. So that type of things will be very much important for you to understand in order to construct an answer. So my dear students, with that thought, we will move on to the question. We started to discuss about the short stories. We discussed about the question. The question is, as you can see on the screen, the extract from the wave represents the tension experienced by human beings in a disaster. Discuss. So I have always told you, when it comes to English literature paper class, make sure to remember, when you are going to construct an answer, first and foremost, you have to read the question very carefully. You have to read the question several times, then only you will get a substantial understanding. Okay, this is my question. And in that particular question, you will have some of the important words and phrases, sometimes clauses, in order to construct your answer. Most of the students, they are not getting enough marks for their literature paper because they are trying to write the summary of the entire poem or else the entire short story. That is not going to work. Make sure to remember, they are not asking you about the summary, they are asking you about a particular question, a particular theme. So when you are writing answers, your answer should be specific, your answer should be unique, and you have to support all the proper quotations. Then only you can construct a powerful answer. So make sure to remember that language is very much important, grammar is very much important. At the same time, selecting quotations which are relevant is also very much important, right? So we will move on, my dear students. So when we read this question, we can clearly understand the entire question is based on this. If you read it very carefully, you can identify the entire question is based on actually the tension. The word tension is something very much important. Now you can see the word, I will highlight the word here, tension. So here tension refers to fear, right? Tension refers to nothing but the fear, right? The fear experience. That is what we are going to discuss, right? Tension means that, right? That is what you have to understand. That is what we call tension, right? So, so what you have to realize is that there are certain incidents in the question where the tension is actually presented to you in different manners. So you have to find out these examples, these situations, and you can construct your answer. Then on the other hand, we have something called tension experienced by human beings in a disaster, right? When it comes to a disaster, what kind of tension is actually experienced by these people? This is the fundamental word that you have to pay your attention. All the answers will be based on this. So make sure to pay your attention to these 2 words, then you can construct your answer pretty well, right? So I have started with my introductory paragraph. Now you can see my introductory paragraph. An extract from Wave is a surreal experience of the author who faced the tsunami and lost her family members, including her father, mother, 2 children, and her husband. The incident ignited tragic experience to her. As a result of that, actually what happened, I discussed previous week, if you can remember, right? She tried to suicide herself. So this is the most important part that you have to remember. This type of information is very much important when it comes to a student, because Sonali Dharaniyagala herself faced this kind of tragic incident. So as a result of that, she could not bear the torment or else the bad experience. As a result of that, she tried to suicide herself more than 3 attempts. But fortunately, her relatives actually saved her, but she herself attempted to suicide 3 times, because the reason is that she could not bear the torment. So this type of information will be very much important for you. Remember, my dear students, this type of information, because when you are writing some kind of appreciation, this kind of information will help you to write more, right? Then these things are very much relevant to the what you call the incident as well. So you can very easily relate them to your answer as well. So we will move on from there. As an educated woman in economics, her story reflected the tension undergone by most of the human beings during an unexpected disasters. So don't misunderstand here, the tension refers to actually the fear, right? If you can give another synonym, that is what we call fear. When it comes to disastrous situations, we have to realize that our natural behavior cannot be seen, right? We will get afraid, so we love ourselves first and foremost, more than the other people. We love ourselves, so we will try to survive first and foremost. We will not think about our parents, we will not think about our wife or husband, we will not think about our brothers and sisters. First and foremost, we will try to survive, right? Definitely you will run first, then only you will realize that what happened to my mother and what happened to my father. That is the natural behavior. Nobody will search for their parents, right? It is very rare. Now your parents may search you, but if something happens, if an earthquake occurs, what will happen? First and foremost, you will run away from the house, you will run out of the house. Then only you will realize, okay, I have to take care of my parents as well. That is the natural, normal, spontaneous behavior of all the human beings, including me as well. Right. So here we discussed that woman in economics, her story reflected the tension undergone by most of the human beings during an unexpected disasters. It was quite prolifically expressed in her novel. So this is actually quite prolifically actually explained in her novel. This is what we are going to discuss. So if you did not participate for the last week's class, make sure to write down, right? I will not give you extra time to write down. Make sure to write down the paragraph while my explanation is going on, because you can refer to the recording, but it will be a waste of time. If you can participate to the class, Puta, there is no point of referring to the recording. You are participating for the class. Your interaction is very good. If you can give your points, I can see your points. We can discuss about that as well. So make sure to participate for the class, then you can gain a lot, because I will explain more than what I have written here, right? So we are coming to the next paragraph. Tension may arise due to several reasons. That is true. When people feel insecure about themselves and their loved ones, they feel tension. Sonali also felt the same when she realized that she has to save her children from the unknown disaster, and she acted accordingly. So here, Sonali's character can be identified as a mother. Don't forget that. So Sonali acted several characters in the novel. If you pay your attention very carefully, she is a daughter and she left her parents and she ran away. She is a wife, and she always, as a wife, as a really good wife, she always gave some kind of awareness to her husband as well. And as a mother, her characteristics are very much important. So make sure to remember, in this particular short story, Sonali's character can be divided into 3 particular perspectives, right? As a mother, how did she behave? As a wife, how did she behave? And as a daughter, how did she behave, right? All these things are very much important. Now, I am referring here to the characteristics of a mother. When it comes to a mother, the most precious thing that they have is their children. So mothers will do anything to protect their children. There is no doubt about that. I don't have to explain that. Mothers will do anything and everything to protect their children. That is the reality. So Sonali also behaved like that. At that moment, we can't argue that, okay, Sonali is selfish. She is a selfish woman. She behaved selfishly. She did not think about other people. She is that type of a character. You can't comment like that, because when it comes to their children, they will do anything and everything in order to save their children. That is the behavior of any mother. That is equal to your mother and my mother, right? Mothers are like that. They will do anything and everything. Not only human mothers, if you take all the animal world, they are also very same, right? They will do anything for their children. So Sonali is doing the same thing, right? So we can't label her saying that she is a selfish woman, she is this type of woman, that type of woman. We can't label like that. That is the natural behavior of any mother, right? Mothers will behave like that. So she realized that she has to save her children from the unknown disaster, and she acted accordingly. Her only concern was her children. As a mother, her behavior is quite natural. She took her children and tried to escape. So her children's what kind of parental love that she possessed. Her parental love is such that she did not actually care about her husband. Where Steve is shouting, "Give me one of them, give me one of them," right? Steve is the father. So Steve is shouting, saying that, "Give me one of them, give me one of them. You can't run like this." So Steve is shouting like that. But Sonali did not give any child because she believed that I am the only person who can provide that protection, who can provide that security. She believed like that, right? She is not ready to give her children even to the husband because she did not believe in him, right? That is what we can understand when we refer to her character, right? This is what we call parental love. So different people can give different types of interpretations, but at the end of the day, what we can understand, she did her very best in order to save her children. That is what she wanted to do, right? In order to do that, sometimes she sacrificed her parents, she sacrificed her best friends, she sacrificed her husband, but the only thing that she wanted to save is her children, because we have to think that from a mother's perspective. A mother will do anything and everything to save the lives of her children, right? That is something very common. That is kind of a universal truth when we refer to the world. We will move on from there, my dear students, right? So I think we wrote up to this point. We will move on from there as fast as she can could due to her tension. She was bothering about her children more than anything. Now, this is something very important. Because of that tension, what happened actually? She was thinking about the security of her children. Tension means fear. She understood that there is some kind of sudden unusual danger actually occurring in her environment. As a person who understood that quite well, she tried to she actually reacted really fast because she wanted to save her children. Very simple, right? So why did she take that type of decision? Because of the tension. Because of the tension, she was afraid, right? She was afraid, right? So she, because of tension, she thought that, okay, I should take my children, run away, because my children are the most precious thing that I have as a mother. So can we blame her? No, we can't. We can't blame her, right? You can give a lot of interpretations. You can say that, no, sir, at least she should have informed her parents. Likewise, you can give a lot of interpretations. I am not going to argue on that. What I am going to tell here is that as a mother, each and every mother will do the same thing. Even your mother, even my mother will do the same thing, right? So mothers are like that. If she is a real mother, she should behave like that, and she behaved like that, right? Very simple. So now you can understand what do you mean by tension, right? The tension experience. Don't forget the question, right? So these words are very much important because these words I have taken directly from the question, right? So please make sure to pay your attention to these words. These words I have directly taken from the question. Can you see the word? The word tension, right? Very much important, my dear students. She was bothering about her children more than anything. They ran barefoot. With the sound effect and the quick movement of foot, one can clearly realize about the speed and tension boys and Sonali suffered to escape from the danger. They actually ran barefoot. They didn't have any slippers or else any shoes. So when they were running, the quick movement of foot, one can clearly realize, right, by referring to the sound effect, right, by referring to the sound effect, one can clearly realize what kind of urgency, what kind of immediacy that they had in order to escape from the situation. They did not think about the slippers as well. They ran barefoot because then we can realize that what kind of urgency, what kind of immediacy that they had in order to escape from the place. Why is that? Why is that? Because of the tension. Don't forget the question. Because of the tension, because of the fear, because they are afraid, right? They didn't know how to react this type of natural disaster. So you and me will react in the same manner, right? We are not unusual, right? You and me also react in the same manner. This is not something unusual, right? So we can clearly realize about the speed and tension boys and Sonali suffered to escape from the danger, to quote from the text. So this is the quotation I have selected from the book. Our feet were loud, though I could hear them slamming the ground. So this clearly shows us what kind of urgency and what kind of immediacy that they had in order to escape from this situation. Why did this urgency occur? Because of the tension. Why did this urgency occur? Because of the tension. Tension means the fear. Tension means fear, nothing but fear, right? Urgency occurred because of tension, because of fear. She never believed anyone, even her husband. Now, this part I actually explained, right? As a mother, she never believed anyone, right? Even her husband. When it comes to the security of her children, her tension was such that she never left her children and was not ready to share them. She never left her children. Her tension was such that she never left her children. So, can you understand? Sonali can be identified as a great mother. There can be a question for your ordinary level examination. Do you think that Sonali is a really good mother? Do you think that Sonali is kind of an affectionate mother? Comment on this statement with relevant examples. There can be a question like that for 2022 ordinary level paper. There can be a question like that. So make sure to understand, you have to get ready for that type of question. So these examples clearly depict us, right? What kind of mother Sonali is, right? So she did not believe in anyone. Mothers are like that. Mother's love is totally different from father's love. Even though Steve is asking, give me one of them, give me one of them, Sonali is not ready to give because she was suffocating from tension. She is suffering from fear. So she thought that if I give one of them, definitely something will happen to them. So the best thing is I can assure myself, I will keep my children to myself. I will provide them that security, that protection. This is what happened. So you can read that. Even her husband, when it comes to the security of her children, her tension was such that she never left her children and was not ready to share them. To quote from the text, I can give you quotations. Hurry up and write down. So we have given the first quotation here. This clearly shows about her tension. That is why actually she ran, right? We discussed about that part. She ran with her children because of the tension. That is how she reacted. Then the second part clearly explains that what kind of love actually possessed by her as a mother. She was not ready to share her children even with her husband, right? Even with her husband. This is something very much important, which clearly shows the tension that she has undergone at that time period. Hurry up and write down. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask. Don't think twice. Sometimes you may have that, okay, our school teacher said something like this. So I personally think something like this. If you have any ideas like that, all your ideas are welcome. And if you have any problems, that part also, please make sure to ask. Now, my dear students, there are a lot of themes, but don't forget the question. The question is based on tension. So we have to show that because of tension, this is what happened, right? She ran away with her children because of tension, because she was thinking that definitely her children will be lost. So as a result of that, she ran away. She did not share her children with anyone because of the tension. Tension means fear, right? She is suffering from the tension that she never wanted to give her children to another person, even to the child's father, because she, as a mother, thought that she is the best one who can provide that protection, right? Because of the tension. So everything is based on tension. There are a lot of other themes. I don't have to explain them, right? Selflessness, selfishness, right? Resiliency. We have a lot of other themes. But in this particular question, we are paying our attention towards the idea of tension. We are not going to write anything at all because the entire question is based on the word called tension. I hope you can understand. Hurry up and write down. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask. Right, Vivanka, can you understand? What about the other students? Amaya, Disandu, can you understand? Dimak, can you understand the explanation? Pasamdul, can you understand? If you have any questions, you can raise the question. Today we are going to discuss about the short story, The Wave by Sonali Dharamiyagala, which clearly explains us about the tension. Because of the tension, what kind of reactions that we can see when it comes to human beings and how we are going to explain them. So human beings will be different, totally different. They will forget their parents, they will forget their loved ones, they will do something in their lives that they have never intended to do. So that kind of behavior is very common, right? When it comes to natural disasters, this is something very common, right? This is something very common. Right, okay. So Ihansa has completed. What about the other students? Right, Disandu. Right, Disandu said that he can understand. Oshani Puta, Senuji, Tanuri. Can you understand, Dua? Right. So we will go to the quotation. I think that you guys can understand. Make sure to remember, stick to the question. Don't write each and everything that you know. Always remember the question. Always remember that word. When you get the paper, make sure to highlight that particular word. Right? When you highlight that particular word, you exactly know you are writing according to the question. Most of the students, they comment at the end of the day, sir, I wrote 12 pages, 13 pages, 8 pages, but I got 7 marks, 8 marks. The reason is that you have written out of the topic. The topic is about tension. If you can see here, in each and every paragraph, I have highlighted that word. That is the methodology that you have to learn. That is why you are participating to a paper class. So you should learn this technique. Each and every paragraph, you are going to use that particular word which you saw in the question. Then the person who is going to mark your paper is under the impression that, okay, this particular boy or girl is writing according to the question because he or she has used that particular word that I have given in the question. Now, what is the word? Tension. Now, what is the word? Tension. So each and everywhere, as much as possible, so always you can't do that, but as much as possible, you have to do that. Then only the person will realize that, okay, this particular boy is writing according to the question. This is what we have to understand. We will go to the quotations. I hope you can see the screen. I was ahead of Steve. I held the boys each by the hand. Give me one of them. Give me one of them. Steve shouted. So she did not give. Why? She did not give. Why? That is the question that I want to ask from the audience. Father is asking from the mother. So children belong to both of them. Children belong to both of them. So father is asking, give me one of them. Give me one of them. Right? I can take them. I can carry him. Give me one of them. But mother is not going to give. Why? You can ask the question. Why? Because of tension. Because of tension. Now, can you understand that mother is not trusting even the father? Wife is not trusting even the husband. Why? What is the reason? Tension. Right? As a mother, she thought that I am the best person who can provide that protection. I am the one who can provide that protection. Can you understand? Why is that? Now, they used to be husband and wife. So you may think that, sir, why she is behaving like that, sir? Even we can't understand. So at the end of the day, Steve is actually the father. He's not an outsider. So why can't she give? She did not believe in anyone. Right? In that type of particular period, in that type of natural disaster, you can't believe anyone at all. Even the most closed ones, right? You can't believe. You can't believe. Right? That is what we are going to discuss. Why? Because of tension, because of fear. When it comes to tension, when it comes to fear, we will do certain things that we have never even imagined of doing. That we have never even imagined of doing. Right? We will do certain things. That is the behavior. That is what we will do. Right? That is the natural behavior of all the human beings who live in this world. Whether you like it or not, that is what happens. We will move on. Sonali's tension was clearly depicted when she openly states that she did not even bother to call her parents. Very important part, my dear students. Very important part. Please make sure to highlight. Please make sure to highlight. Sonali's tension. Can you see the word? Can you see the word which I have highlighted here? Sonali's tension was clearly depicted when she openly states that she did not even bother to call her parents. It is not openly status, openly states, right? She openly states. that she didn't even bother to call her parents. She did not bother about her parents even. Now, your parents can be identified as the most trustworthy people in your life, right? We all know that your parents will not do anything that will be harmful for you. Can you understand what I'm telling here, right? Your parents, you can very easily trust your parents. Like, you can very easily trust your parents because you know that whatever said and done, at the end of the day, your parents will be with you. That is what I am going to explain here. But here, Sonali did not think about parents as well. So this is what we call the reaction of human beings. When it comes to natural disasters, we become selfish. We become selfish. So if you are going to comment on that, no, sir, we should not be selfish. That is not going to happen, Buddha. We all are human beings. We all are human beings. We have jealousy. We have selfishness, right? We have cruelty. We have violence, right? But the levels will be different. The levels will be different. The exposure will be different, right? The outcome will be different, but we all have that, right? But we all have that. So this kind of, when it comes to this kind of situations, some of them will come out. Some of them may come out, right? Whether you like it or not, that's what happens, right? So when the disaster is about to happen, she was under the impression that it will stall them from escaping from the disaster. Why she did not inform her parents? Because, again, because of tension. She was under the tension that she thought that if I wait there to inform my parents what will happen, I will not be able to save my children and my husband. So she became selfish. Do you think that is wrong? I'm not telling that is wrong, right? I can't tell that is wrong because you are a mother. So when it comes to a mother will try to save her children, Buddha. That is what she will do. She will fight with any army. She will do anything and everything in order to save her children. So Sonali is correct. Don't forget the situation. The situation is disastrous. She has never experienced this type of situation. Even as Sri Lankans, we have never experienced this kind of natural disaster. This is not a flood. This is not an earthquake. This is the first time that we face an incident called tsunami. We have never experienced something like this. So this is very much novel for us. This is very much novel for us. People didn't know how to react. Now, of course, we know how to react, right? But those days, people didn't know how to react. That is what happened. So as a result of that, a lot of people became selfish, right? They wanted to save themselves. That is something very natural. We all are selfish up to some extent. Nobody can say no, right? We all are selfish. That is the reality. So under the impression that it will stall them from escaping from the disaster. This is another example to depict the tension experienced by Sonali. Can you see each and every place I try my level best to use the word tension because I know that the question is about tension. I know about that. So I always try to use that word in order to show to the audience that make sure to remember I'm writing according to the question. I don't write things here and there, whatever the whims and fancies that I have in my mind. I write according to the question. I know the question, all my points will be here according to the question. The most important word that you have to pay your attention is tension and the behavior of human beings. So this is what you have to remember. You may know the entire story, but if you can't write according to the point, then you will not get marks. This is what I am going to practice in a paper class. This I cannot do when it comes to End of Sweets class or else in the what you call poetry class or else in the other classes. Paper class is specifically there in order to discuss how to write, right? So you are writing, your vocabulary will be different. Sometimes some students may be there who can write really well. Their vocabulary will be something remarkable than my vocabulary, but make sure to write according to the question, simple English according to the question, right? So this is another example to depict the tension experienced by Sonali. Sometimes we forget even the most loud ones. Very important, right? Our behavior, right? Our behavior, right? If you can see the screen, even the most loud ones of our life due to the tension experience, right? Due to the tension, sometimes we will forget even the parents. Parents can be identified as the most trustworthy ones, right? Most trustworthy, but sometimes we may forget them. Sometimes we may forget them. This is what we have discussed. So hurry up and write down. Ask me a message if you have finished. If you have any questions, please make sure to ask. Yeah, you are correct, Ihansa. Very good. I agree with your answer, Ihansa. Very good. If you have finished, please make sure to pass me a message. Hurry up. Right, up to now, if you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, Hansa has finished. What about other girls, other boys? Rivinaka, sorry, I'm sorry, Rivinaka, can you understand? Senuji, Suleiman, make sure to pay your attention. If you have any questions, you can ask. Now, each and everything happened here. Almost all the actions happened because of tension. First and foremost, we have to understand that almost all the actions occurred because of tension. Sonali did not think about the protection of her children, which means that she did not bother that whether they are going to get injured or not. Barefoot, she ran away with her children because she wanted to escape, because she was suffering from tension, right? She was not bothered about giving any child to the father because she thought about the protection of children. That is also because of tension. She was feared that, she was upset that something may happen to her children. She did not bother about her parents because she was suffering from the tension. If she called her parents and if she tried to give some kind of protection to her parents, that will stall her, and as a result of that, she will lose her entire family. But at the end of the day, she lost everyone, not only her parents, but also her family as well. But what I am trying to explain here, my dear students, try to understand the idea of tension. When it comes to tension, when you face this kind of natural disaster, you will also react in the same manner. As outsiders, we can put a lot of labels to Sonali, right? As outsiders, we can say she is a selfish woman. No, at least she should have knocked the door, right? This is not the way that she should behave. You can tell number of stories. You can give number of labels, right? But at the end of the day, try to understand she behaved the most suitable way that a mother should behave. Her first priority was to give that protection for children, and she did that the level best that she can. So when it comes to this situation, this is something very important that you all have to pay your attention. I hope that you guys can understand. We will move on to the next part, right? I'm going to erase this. Right, so this is the quotation which I have taken. So make sure to remember selecting quotations if you are getting ready for your ordinary level examination. Now make sure to remember, now onwards you have to select 2 short stories when it comes to your essay type questions. Now, basically we have 4 short stories. Now itself, you have to select 2 short stories and you have to start studying all the quotations. these two short stories will be there for me, and I'm going to study those quotations. So if I were you, I will definitely select Lahore Attack, and I will go with this one, right? These are the easiest lessons that you have, and you have a limited amount of what do you call themes as well. So you can write a lot. If you are going to select this particular short story, definitely you have to study this quotation, because by referring to this quotation, you can cover a lot of questions. You can cover a lot of questions. There are some special quotations. By referring to one quotation, you can write a lot of questions. You can write answers for a lot of questions. This particular quotation is something like that. Now, if you refer to this quotation can be used when it comes to the theme of selfishness and selflessness. This quotation can be used when it comes to parental love or else mother's love. This quotation is a very good example for how people behave when they face when it comes to a disastrous situation, what kind of behavior that we can see, right? This quotation can be taken as one of the best examples for a woman's resilience, right? A woman's resilience, right? How powerful she was, right? What kind of attitude that she had when it comes to natural disaster. So if you study this quotation, you can cover almost 5 or 4 themes. So make sure to study that type of quotations. There are some quotations you can write only one answer, only one important situation will be there. You can't cover a lot, but this is not like that. By referring to this particular quotation, you can cover a lot, right? A lot of themes can be covered. So make sure, remember, if you are getting ready for the exam from Bevu by Sonali Dharaniyagala, this is one of the best quotations that you can study. Yeah, you can cover almost all the themes. You can cover almost all the themes, right? What is the quotation? I did not stop for my parents. I did not stop to knock on the door of my parents' room, which was next to ours, on the right as we ran out. I did not shout to warn them. I did not bang on their door and call them out. As I ran past for a splintered second, I wondered if I should. I wondered if I should, but I could not stop. It will stall us. So it is kind of a conversation with her own consciousness, right? She was having some kind of a conversation with her own conscience where, right, whether I should do that or I should not do that, right? At the end of the day, she decided, no, I'm not going to do that, right? So very fine example where the genuine quality of the story is also reflected. When you take all the short stories, all the 4 short stories, right? The Sangakkara story and especially Sonali Dharaniyagala story can be taken as the realistic stories. The other 2 are actually fairy tales, or else we don't know whether they actually existed or not. Now, when you refer to this one, my dear students, this is very much realistic. This is very much genuine. Genuine means it is realitical, right? Very much realitical. So Sonali is the only person who knew about this. So why did she write like that? She could have written that, no, I helped my parents. I tried to save them, but they did not come. Then I grabbed them and then I put them into a trishaw, and I am the one who drove the trishaw. She could have written like that. No, Buddha, we didn't see anything. We didn't face this incident. We didn't experience this incident, but she did not write like that. She did not write like that. She wrote the truth. As a result of that, even today, this book is known as one of the most famous novels when it comes to literature. A lot of people bought the book because they knew that this is genuine, authentic expression by Sonali Dharaniyagala. Genuine, authentic expression. Not only genuine, authentic expression. How this authenticity actually came to the story, she has revealed all the real life experiences. All the real life experiences are actually revealed by her. Now, we don't know whether H.H. Munro is relating a real story or not. Obviously, we can understand when it comes to the Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde, the trees are not talking, animals are not talking. That is what we call a fairy tale. When it comes to Kumar Sangakkara's Lahore Attack, we can agree with the fact that because Kumar Sangakkara has himself faced the incident, so we have to agree this. This is also something like that. So we can very easily agree to this, because by referring to these quotations, we can realize that she is not trying to tell that she is a very positive character. Her negativities can be clearly identified. She should not write like this. She can write like, I was a brave woman. I was ready to save my parents, but they did not come. She could have written like that, but she did not write like that. The reason is she wanted to tell the truth. This book can be identified as one of the chances, actually, one of the opportunities actually provided by her in order to relieve from her mental suffocation, from her mental depression. Now she has married to another woman and she's having a really good life. But nevertheless, this is actually a relief to her. Remember that this is actually a relief. Authenticity of the story is something very much important, right? Very much authentic, very much real life. Visual imagery, exactly. The visual imagery is also there, Buddha, because we can understand the story is real. It is not a story with a lot of hyperbole, a lot of exaggeration. Can you understand? We can't see a lot of these things. The story is very much real. This is what we can understand. So hurry up and write down, Buddha. Please pass me a message if you have finished. Right, I think the time is enough. I hope that you guys have completed. So we will move on to the next part. When Sonali and her family members were trying to escape from the jeep, her best friend's mother fell down and Sonali wanted to stop the jeep to rescue the lady. This is something very important, which again clearly shows us the complicated human behavior. How complicated our lives are actually, right? Even we can't understand that, my dear students, right? So when we give some kind of food to a dog, right, only one day that particular dog will come behind us each and every day. So we have given only a morsel of food only one day. For a stray dog, the dog will remember you the entire year, or else entire time period. The dog will remember you that, okay, this particular person gave me some amount of food. But for 365 days, you may have actually shared your food with your best friend. Only one day you miss that. Only one day you miss that. As a result of that, your friend will not talk to you. But for more than 365 days, you have shared your food with your friend. Only one day you miss that. As a result of that, your friend will not talk to you. So this is what we call the complexity of human characteristics. It's very much complicated, right? We can't understand. It's very much complicated. So Sonali said that, stop the jeep, stop the vehicle, right? We can take her to the jeep. Then what happened actually? Orlanta's mother, Behula, actually fell down, and Orlanta's father, and then he also jumped out of the vehicle, right? He wanted to save her, he wanted to save his wife. So then Sonali did not shout. Then Sonali never said that stop the vehicle, because she knew that some people have to sacrifice in order to save our lives, right? Somebody has to do that sacrifice. I am not going to do that. She was under the tension. She realized that that is the best thing to do. Then the problem is over. That is very much inhuman. Now, this is very much inhuman. You can understand that, right? But she took a decision. She thought that, okay, at the end of the day, these people will die. I have 2 children. I have my family, right? I am still young. So I have to survive. These people, they will jump and they will survive. Then I have to survive. This is what she thought, right? This is what she got the idea. This is the idea that she got. This is what I have explained to you. If you pay your attention, her best friend's mother fell down and Sonali wanted to stop the jeep to rescue the lady. Behula's husband also jumped out of the jeep to save his wife. At that moment, Sonali did not shout to save him because of her tension. Because of her tension. Because of her fear, because she thought that if I shouted again, okay, stop the vehicle, and then also jumped out of the jeep, what will happen? What will happen? Her life and her children's life and her husband's life will be in danger. So she suffered from tension. Because of that tension, she did not shout. She thought that, okay, if he wanted to die, let him die. That is very inhuman behavior. Very inhuman behavior, but can't help. When it comes to this type of situations, we have to take decisions like that. We have to take decisions like that, right? Can't help. Human beings will become inhuman, right? So can't help. That is what we can identify, right? Sonali did not shout to save him because of her tension. She understood in order to survive with her family, some sacrifices must be done. Right? Some sacrifices must be done by someone, right? Some sacrifices must be done by someone. Somebody has to do that, whether we like it or not. Somebody has to do that. And if someone is ready to do that, I should not bother. I should not bother, right? If somebody is ready to do that, why should I bother? This is what she thought. Right. So did you finish this part? Shall we move on to the next part? Yahansa, Amaya, Rivinaka, please pass me a message. Puta, did you finish? Shall we move on? I think we have finished the question. We can go to another question. Hurry up. Please make sure to write down. Right, okay. Right. Now we will move on to the last part. I am going to erase this. Right, this is the quotation. Right, this is the quotation. Again, this quotation can be taken as one good example for selfishness and selflessness as well. Right. So so it clearly shows us the selfishness but this is not actually relevant to the question, so I am not going to comment on that. Right, I am not going to comment on that, but this quotation is very much relevant to selfishness as well. I'm not going to comment on that because that is not relevant. The above quotations from the story determines the fact that tension is something natural, right? So this is my final paragraph, or else we can call it as the concluding paragraph, right? So the opening paragraph and concluding paragraph is a must, right? When it comes to a question, you have to finish that in style. So concluding paragraph must be there. Definitely, some students are raising the question, so is it essential to have a concluding paragraph? Definitely, we have to have a concluding paragraph. It is a must. Make sure to pay your attention. The above quotations from the story determines the fact that tension is something natural experienced by each and every human being when it comes to natural disaster. This is something very common, right? Especially why this kind of tension will occur when it comes to natural disasters or any type of disaster. Not only natural disasters, but any type of disaster, right? So we will become inhuman, right? That is natural, right? We will become selfish and we think about ourselves. That's it. We don't think about other people, right? We don't bother about other people's lives. This is what we have discussed. Right? If you have finished, please pass me a message. We will move on to the next part. Please hurry up. Send me a message, Pudha. Ihansa, send me a message. If you have finished, we will move on to the next part. The students are thinking that when I am asking them to come to the paper class, they believe that okay, paper class is something else that this particular person has done to what you call earn money or something. No, paper class, you can only attend to the paper classes if you like, but you have to complete your work, all the poems, all the short stories. If you have finished that, you can get an idea. This is how I am going to write. Now, did you pay your attention? What did I do? What did I do here? Right. First and foremost, right. If you pay your attention very carefully, you may have understood that what did I do here, right? So I actually started with the question. So I explained you the question. Then I told you in each and every question, you can understand a very important word or phrase that will help you to write the answer. You have to give the introduction. Introduction is something very common that you are going to write about the poet and the poem, or else the writer and the book, some information in nutshell. Then you can directly come to the question. All the body paragraphs should contain the idea of the question. The question that you are going to write, that idea should be there. All the body paragraphs, not only one body paragraph, right? All the body paragraphs. Then you can come to the concluding thought. We are moving to the next question, right? This is the question. This is taken from 2021 ordinary level paper. The lumber room, right? The lumber room symbolizes children's curiosity imagination, and wildness discussed. Now, in this particular question, if you can tell me, somebody please tell me, what are the most important words that you have to pay your attention? When you read this question, what are the most important words that you have to pay your attention? Right? Basically, we have the lumber room symbolizes children's curiosity, imagination, and wildness. This is the question that you received when it comes to 2021 ordinary level paper, right? This question actually came in 2021 ordinary level paper. We are discussing 2021 ordinary level paper, right? Ordinary level paper, right? This was the question, right? From lumber room, right? This was the question. So what are the most important words that we have to pay our attention, right? Yes, Samaya, children's curiosity, imagination, and wildness. So these are the words that we have to pay your attention. So your entire answer should based on these three words, right? Entire answer should based on these three words. Very much important, right? Entire answer should based on these three words, right? Whenever you are writing the paragraph, you have to remember that, okay, I have to stick to my question like this. I'm not going to explain about the protagonist or antagonist or this thing and that thing. I have something to write very carefully. I always have to show them curiosity, imagination, wildness, right? So you have to cover all these three parts. So I have explained you how you are going to write if you pay your attention very carefully, right? So introductory paragraph is a must. So in the introductory paragraph, you can include about some information about the writer, right? Some information about the writer and the book, right? So it is actually very much subjective, right? I can't tell you that you should write this thing or that thing, but I can basically say these are the two things that you are going to include when it comes to the introductory paragraph, right? So when it comes to the concluding paragraph, you can actually give a small summary, right, about the entire answer, and you can include these three words again if you like, right? These three words can be used again if you like. What are the three words that we are going to pay our attention? You can explain about the curiosity, right? About the curiosity. Then you can speak about the imagination. Imagination is very common actually in this particular short story. And then we can discuss about the wildness. This is something new that we are going to discuss, right? Wildness, wild behavior, right? So this is what we are going to do the summary part. That is what we call the summary. Then we have this is actually about the author and everything. This is the body part, right? So in each and every body paragraph, we have to include about these three things: imagination and curiosity, right? So we are going to pay our attention based on these three things. Very much important, right? So this is what you have to understand. That kind of sketch should be there in your mind. That kind of sketch should be there in your mind, right? So soon after we finish this, we are going to discuss Royal College paper and the Vishaka Vidyalaya paper as well. So then you will understand that those papers are very difficult to understand, right? The O-level exam will not be that much difficult, but those papers are really good, right? Then you will get a lot of exposure when it comes to literature, right? So these are the papers. These are the questions actually. This is only a nutshell. This is what you have to include. So I have given them. So we will go to the introductory paragraph. Always remember, my introductory paragraph is totally different from your introductory paragraph. It is always subjective. You can include about the date of birth, date of death, all the other books written by this particular writer, what kind of awards that he has won. So all these important information you can include, right? That is also always very subjective. The Lumber Room is a short story written by H.H. Munro, where we don't have is here, right? There is a typo. Cut this. The Lumber Room is a short story written by H.H. Munro, whose pen name is Saki, right? So he is known to be a very popular writer as Saki. He was a British writer who did not enjoy happy childhood. This is something very much important. Who did not enjoy happy childhood. As a writer, he never enjoyed happy childhood, something important, right? That's fine. Okay, right. So this is very much important because H.H. Munro did not enjoy a happy childhood. He lost her parents when he was very young, and he used to live with two of his tyrannical aunts. As a result of that, he did not have a very happy childhood. It was a very religious atmosphere, and he was not given enough freedom to enjoy with his friends. A lot of critics, they say that most of the influence, or else most of the experiences that he received in his childhood, he used them, most of them, in order to write the short stories and most of the other renowned stories when it comes to literature. Most of them are his personal experiences. Right, so we will move on. He lost his parents when he was a young boy, and he used to live with his tyrannical aunts. Almost all the short stories written by the author was based on the theme. This theme is very much important. I will highlight that. So you can see the theme. Make sure to remember this theme. Children are much more smarter than adults. Adults' actions were neglected and humiliated. Very much important. Neglected and humiliated, right? These words are very much important. Neglected and humiliated by the author due to the experiences he faced as a young boy. The children's curiosity, now, we are using the words now directly, right? Directly from the question. Children's curiosity, wildness, and imagination. Directly from the question, I have taken the most important words. This is how I have connected. This is I have connected the story, right? The question with the answer, right? The question is actually connected with the answer. The children's curiosity, wildness, and imagination was always highlighted in his short stories. The lumber room can be identified as the best example, right? Hurry up and write down. Right, okay. I hope that you guys have finished. This is the introductory paragraph that I have given you. So your introductory paragraph will be totally different from this one. That is totally okay. So we will go to the question. I hope that you guys have completed. If you have not completed, please make sure to send me a message. Right. Okay. Now, in the introductory paragraph, what you have to do is that give some information about the author and give some information about the poem or the short story that you are going to write the answer. Right. Children are born with curiosity. So directly I am coming to the question. You can see this very carefully, directly, right? Without writing anything at all, I am directly coming to the word curiosity, right? I'm not going to write all the other things. Directly I am writing according to the story, as you can see on the screen. Children are born with curiosity. They are curious to know about the unknown world. They are curious to know about the unknown world because they are not matured like us, right? They are not matured like us. So they like to know. And they always seek knowledge from the adults about the things that they are not aware of. Right? They always seek knowledge from the adults. Very important, right? They always seek knowledge from the adults about the things that they are not aware of. Unfortunately, most of the adults consider it as disturbance. Unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, most of the adults take it as a disturbance. Now, if you take Nicholas's aunt is also that type of a character. Whenever Nicholas and other children, right, wanted to ask something, right, whenever they needed something, whatever the physical needs or mental needs are not what you call recognized by Nicholas's aunt. They were not given a chance to explain their situation, explain their story from their own point of view. That was the problem, right? So they think children are liars whose expressions cannot be taken into granted. So aunt also thought like that, right? Some adults, they are under the impression that most of the children are lying. They are liars, right? That was the impression, right? That was the impression. Right? And the things that they tell and whatever the expressions that they give cannot be taken into granted, right? We can't trust them, right? We can't trust children. This is important, right? It is up to you, Buddha. Now, introductory paragraph is a must. It is up to you, Rivinaka. You can write whatever the introductory paragraph that you write, but make sure to remember, don't write too much. If you write like 1 page or half a page or 2 pages for the introduction, then you will lose marks because you don't have time to write the answer. Because at the end of the day, Buddha, you will have only 24 to 26 minutes to complete one answer, right? Somewhere around roughly 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes. Roughly you have 30 minutes. So don't give a lot of time to write an introduction. A small introduction is more than enough, right? 10 to 12 lines, more than enough, right? So very simple introduction, make sure to give because then you have to directly come to the answer. Now I have directly come to the answer. I'm not going to write this thing and that thing here and there. Now when we take HS Punro, we can write a hell of a lot. But I'm not going to write everything because my major concern is my answer. I have to build up my answer. That is my major concern, right? The aunt's character in the lumber room is also one such adult, right? One such adult. She never pays attention to curiosity of children. Nicholas and almost other children were so much curious about the lumber room, right? Most of the children, they want to know about lumber room, but aunt did not give them permission to enter to the lumber room. But aunt has not provided any chance of entering to the lumber room. It was prohibited area for children. Due to aunt's behavior, Nicholas grew the curiosity. Right? Due to aunt's behavior, Nicholas grew the curiosity and thought there is something hidden in lumber room. Finally, Nicholas ended up entering to the lumber room. Right? At the end of the day, what happened? Because of that curiosity, Nicholas never wanted to enter to the lumber room, but at the end of the day, aunt challenged him. Aunt challenged him, saying that, okay, you can go anywhere that you like, but you should not enter to the lumber room. So this brought some kind of curiosity. Can you remember that? Right? When aunt actually did so many things in order to hurt Nicholas. Number one, all the children were taken to the Jackgroff beach and Nicholas will be kept inside the house because he is in disgrace. Aunt thought that aunt can actually give some kind of mental torture to Nicholas. Aunt thought that Nicholas will come behind her and Nicholas will worship her. Please, auntie, take me also, something like that. But Nicholas was much more matured than that. Nicholas did not come behind the aunt. He was much more matured than that. He did not come. So aunt understood that first attempt is failed. What was the second attempt? The second attempt is aunt said to Nicholas that you can go anywhere that you like, but you should not enter to the gooseberry garden. That was the idea. So Nicholas understood that, okay, this was actually given to me as a challenge. So I will definitely enter this place without being noticed, and I will prove the fact that not only for the gooseberry garden, I can enter to the lumber room as well. So at the end of the day, he did that. Aunt actually told that because Aunt knew that Nicholas will definitely enter. So soon after Nicholas entered the particular place, Aunt can go and punish him. All these incidents actually happen because all these problems, all these conflicts are actually created by Nicholas. But the problem is Aunt could not prove them, right? Because Nicholas did not keep any evidence. So Aunt needed some kind of evidence to punish Nicholas. But Nicholas is much more intelligent than the aunt. Remember, these things are very much important, right? Paper class. This is what we discuss. The aunt's character in the lumber room, we discussed about that. It was prohibited area for children due to aunt's behavior. Nicholas grew the curiosity, and throughout there is something hidden in lumber room. Finally, Nicholas ended up entering into the lumber room, right? So hurry up and write down that part. If you have any questions, you can ask. Right, okay. So I hope that you guys have finished. So we discussed, actually, we started from the idea of curiosity. So I will show you that first. So we started from here, right? What was the word? Curiosity. So don't forget the word, right? We started from here. So the first paragraph, we continued using that word, right? So this is what we did actually, curiosity, right? So we discussed each and every place, we discussed about the curiosity. That is the word that you have to highlight. That is how you are going to write the answers. Then the person who is going to mark your paper is under the impression that, okay, this particular girl or the boy is writing according to the question. See, right? Curiosity. That is the word that we always use, right? Right. I hope that you guys have finished. We will move on to the next part. Right? Okay. This is the last slide that we are going to discuss today. Right. This is the quotation which I have selected. Often and often, Nicholas had pictured to himself what the lumber room might be like, that region that was so carefully sealed from the youthful eyes and concerning which no questions were ever answered. So children used to ask a lot of questions about the lumber room, but aunt was not able to give the answers, and she was not ready to give the answers. As a result of that, a lot of curiosity can be seen among the children, but none of these children were brave enough like Nicholas to take a step and enter to the lumber room, or else the forbidden garden, or else to this paradise. Right. Then we directly come to the wildness. That is another fact that we are going to discuss. Right. Important part. Right. So that word is also very much important, as you can see here. The wildness of children is depicted in the short story, referring to the character of Nicholas. Right. Nicholas entered a frog into his bread and milk as a wild act. It is actually a wild act, right? In order to prove that adults can't be always correct on everything. Most of the adults were depicted as older, wiser, and better people. They were depicted as older, wiser, and better people, but this is what we call irony. They are not wiser, they are not better, right? They are only old, right? They are only old. This is what H.H. Munro tries to tell us. Even though he used the phrase older, wiser, and better, try to understand they are older. That is true. That is why they are known as adults. But they are not wiser. Wiser means intelligent, and they are not better, right? This is very much ironical. Very much ironical. This is what we call irony, right? Very much ironical, because we know they are not. They are not wiser. They are not better. Most of the adults, including the aunt, thought it was a wild imagination. At the end of the day, everybody had to accept Nicholas's idea. The children's wildness is depicted in the below quotation. This wild act is done by Nicholas because aunt is not showing proper attention to the needs and wants of children. That is why he did this kind of wild act. It is a wild act. Why did he do like that? Because aunt thinks that she knows everything. Nicholas wanted to prove the fact that no. There are certain things that you don't know. Even I will prove that. Now you say that there is no frog in my bread and milk. Shall I tell you the color of the frog? Shall I tell you the shape of the frog? Then aunt had to accept, because Nicholas is the person who put the frog into the bread and milk. So that is the wild act actually done by him, right? So hurry up and write down. Right. So you can write down this and you can leave the meeting because it's 10:30. So next week we are going to discuss the target questions. Make sure to find out the paper 2021. So we have 2 target questions to go. That is from Lahore Attack and Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde. Then we will finish the entire paper, and we have discussed about vendor of sweets as well. I'm sorry. So we will finish the entire paper, and then we will move on to the Royal College paper. I will send you the paper. You can get the paper and you can try yourselves. Make sure to write answers by yourselves, and make sure to send me the answers through WhatsApp. Make sure to convert that into a PDF, then it is much more visible. Then I will go through the answer, then I will comment on that, right? So if you have finished, you can leave the meeting. Good night.